Well, you're with Destination Uri. It's Rowan Hand, Roisin Mulgrew with me, and it's a while since I've seen a politician occupy an entire front page almost, and you've done it in the Uri Reporter this week, and it's about Dobson's Way in Bessbrook, and there is a problem.
There is a problem, Rowan, although it's not just with Dobson's Way, it's actually Bessbrook Village in its entirety, really. But the unfortunate thing is with Dobson's Way is that it's a beautiful new development with first-class houses that people were absolutely desperate to get into. And, you know, I think in recent weeks, when we see the waiting list of people desperate to get into St Paul's, we realise that Bessbrook is a village that has an awful lot to offer its people and the wider community. You know, it has fantastic schools, amenities, transport links, and yet there's a very small element of people that seem to have been allowed to get into the village that are intent on making people's lives a misery.
Is that not the very thing, and I'll ask them when they're in next week, is that not the very thing that the neighbourhood policing team should be able to stamp out?
Absolutely. And without a doubt, now it is a two-way street. We need, and very much my message is to people, if you suspect anything, if you see anything, if you're being annoyed by anything, you lift the phone and report it.
Yeah.
Because on numerous occasions I have phoned housing associations or housing executive to make a complaint about a house, and they'll say, we have nothing on our system, nobody's ever complained about that.
That's what was said in this story.
Yeah.
Is it the Housing Association?
The Housing Association...
we have no open files on social abuse, anti-social abuse.
Well, no, the Housing Association, Clonmel, are well aware of the situation in Dobson's Way, and that's why there are a couple of vacant houses, and they are working with the community to identify the other houses, and they are going to follow through with their tenancy agreement.
Yes.
But there, you know, in the past there have been occasions where people are not coming forward with the information.
People, it seems to me, are cowering in their homes, maybe.
Yeah, they're not. They're just, and you know, when you've lived with something for a very long time, you become weary with it, and you think nobody's interested.
Yeah.
So I'm here to say, as your representative, I am interested in this. I want you to come forward and report this, and I can assure you that I will be following it up with the Housing Executive, Housing Association, the Community Police, because everybody needs to play their part in this. We don't want it in Bessbrook, and the people of Bessbrook don't deserve it.
No, they don't. Tell me exactly what's happening.
Well, as I say, there are several houses throughout the village, and we have received information that there have been drug paraphernalia found in the houses. There's a lot of to and fro into the houses, a lot of parties. There have been a few instances where there have been fights that have spilled out onto the streets. Young people, young families are listening to this loud music. They're seeing people that are intoxicated, they feel, from drugs. I know the police have confirmed to me and the Housing Association that there have been a number of homes raided in the Bessbrook area, that there has been drug paraphernalia found, there have been small amounts of drug found. Now, I understand that the police need us to come together as a community, support them, because people that have a drug problem need help.
They do.
If they want to come off it, they need the help and support. People that are selling drugs need to be in jail. Now, in order to get them into jail, we need the information for the police to do their job. And very importantly, we need the courts to be handing out the appropriate sentences. And like, people are coming to me and saying, well, X, Y and Z have been arrested and they're out the next day. You know, we need our courts to be following up and giving people the appropriate sentences. There's no quick fix, but we do need all to work together, you know. And as I have stressed, this is a community-wide problem.
Yes.
The good thing for the residents is that Clonmel are a very good housing association, and they have spoken to the residents, and they are absolutely giving us the guarantee that they are going to follow through with their tenancy agreements.
Yeah. So they have identified the offenders, or the alleged offenders, and they've approached them.
Yes.
And they've warned them.
Yes. Yes.
That should be enough, shouldn't it?
Well, absolutely. Now, of course, you hope that people are going to listen to the warnings. Obviously, they have not listened to warnings, and now the steps will be taken to have those people evicted out of those houses. Which is the right thing to happen, we feel. Now, as I say,
what kind of people are, and it's difficult to say, but those offend. What's the age demographic of those who are offending? What kind of folk are they?
Well, I suppose people like to put labels on the individuals, and they like to target different groups of our community. But I can tell people that, as far as I am aware, some of the people involved have lived in Bessbrook for quite a while. Some of the people involved would be new to the village, but not particularly from a very far away. Some would be from maybe the Newry direction.
Yes.
But we have people from all sections of the community are involved. They are not children. They would be older people than that, maybe.
Are they teenagers? Or are they in their 20s?
No, they would be 20s, 30s seem to be the houses that are involved. The problem is you're living in a community where you do have a lot of young people, and we don't want our young adults growing up thinking that this sort of behaviour is normal, because this sort of behaviour is not normal.
No. You see, if I were the boss of the police out at Ardmore, and I greet him this morning, "How are you, sir? We'll see you again." So he was in with me recently. But I would say to my people, I would say to my squad car, look, this weekend, or when we get the idea of when it's happening, we're going to target Bessbrook. We're going to go out there. We're going to spend 3 hours going in and out of Bessbrook, going between Camlin and Bessbrook, making the stops, making the calls. We'll get out of the car and we'll walk up the street. We'll go back. We use our ears. And if we hear noise, we'll not need any neighbours to tell us. We'll knock on the door and stop it. Why is he not doing that?
Well, I suppose that's a question you'll have to ask the police. I would imagine that they're going to say that it's down to resources. Now, as I say, I have spoken to the police about it, and I'm actually having a meeting with the police on Monday, and it will be brought up with them again on Monday. And, we have worked very hard as a party to have a good working relationship with the police. And, now there was a huge hit in budget to the likes of community policing. And we said very loud and clear as a party that we felt that would set policing within South Armagh back 20 years, because we were able to set up different groups, residents associations, community associations, and we were able to introduce them to their community police officers. We were able to foster good relations with community police officers.
In a sense, what they're doing is they're unstitching the fabric that you so painstakingly wove.
And we have worked tirelessly to try and build that sort of trust, and it is very difficult. The other thing, Rowan, that it would be very remiss of me not to mention here, there is a problem in all of our communities now with private landlords, because private landlords tend not to have tenancy agreements with their tenants, and very often people in Bessbrook and other areas will come to me, and the first thing I'll say is at a housing executive house or a housing association house, because I have a lot more that I can work with if that's the case. If it's private landlords, very often the community don't actually know who does own the house. And they don't have that sort of same contract with their tenant. And it's almost like a business, just, it's a matter of them. They own a property, they don't care. So that is what I would be saying to private landlords is, you have a duty of care to the community that you have that property in. And that community needs to be treated with respect, and you need to know who you are putting into those houses.
But they'll simply laugh at you. Their God is the dollar. That's what they want. But I mean, surely to goodness, your people at Stormont in central government ought to be proposing and implementing legislation that will tie the private landlord sector into a situation where they have to care.
Well, I think there have been a few moves made to try and sort of put a level playing field out there, and to bring in legislation that private landlords will have to be registered and all of that sort of thing. It's going to be a long process. And, there would be people even that own properties here that don't even live within this jurisdiction anymore, So, I mean, it's a very complicated situation. But as I say, this is about us coming together as a community, and me saying to people, don't be afraid to come out and say how you are feeling in your home. Your home should be your sanctuary. That's what everybody's entitled to within the community, and the support mechanism is there, I am quite happy to hold those that are supposed to be doing their job accountable if they're not doing that job correctly. But the big problem, I think, at the end of it is the whole judicial system. It's so slow.
Ah, yeah.
You know, the mechanisms are all there, but everything works so slowly. You know, and it's just trying to get that bit of enthusiasm and burst behind it to push this through and stop making excuses for people's bad behaviour.
You see, one of the things that's coming to me now, and I congratulate you for it, I sense that you have positioned yourself on the front line. You're not dodging behind any desk, behind any office door. You're there with the people. I'm believing you. If I were living in Dobson's Way, I'd be very pleased to have you there. But where do you get your energy? You're a wife, a mother. You've now taken to politics, and
I became
your
a
neck is
grandmother yesterday.
And a what?
I became a grandmother yesterday.
I come. It's wonderful.
No, well, I'll tell you
it's
what,
a busy
Rowan.
life you've got. And
It is a busy
you've put
life.
you've built a whole new strand into it.
Well, Rowan, I'll tell you what, I believe the most important thing about politics, all party politics, is on the ground. It's how you represent the people on the ground. And, you know, I have never had a problem talking to anybody or trying to broker a more comfortable position for people. I believe I'm very community driven, I always have been, and I think that we should all be trying to give as much as we take. And you know, I just enjoy my job. I enjoy people. I've always worked with people, and I'm comfortable dealing with people. And I've never actually been in a situation where anybody has made me feel uncomfortable, or a situation that I wasn't prepared to go into and talk to people. I don't think we can. You can't. You have to lead from the front, and I'm quite happy to go there and say to people, "I'm here. I'm your representative. People put me into this position."
Aye.
You know, people came out and voted for me last year
to do the job.
To do this job. So that's what I'm trying to do. It doesn't always work out. You don't always get the results that you want, but I will certainly try my best to represent people.
You see, and you'll think I'm joking, but when that hairy fellow, what's his name, the tweedy hairy fellow, Adams goes, forget about Mary Lou. I see leadership material in you.
Oh,
well done.
Much.
Well
Thanks
done.
very much for that, Rowan,
Well
but I'll decline that job offer. Thank you.
You go well, and good luck to you in
Rowan.
what you're trying to achieve.
Thank you very much.
There you are. Roisin Mulgrew in her campaign to bring a bit of sanity into the troubled heart of Bessbrook.